friends, hello and welcome to another episode of the show. This is the second in our Mandela Gateway series for 2022. If you missed the first of this 3-part series, you can find that in the podcast. You can just scroll back a couple of episodes. If you're on YouTube, it's in the recent uploads playlist. I want to thank you all for joining me here, whether you're new or returning family member of TLC for the Soul. I hope you always find something that will uplift, inspire, or enlighten you, or just come relax and sit down and spend a few minutes contemplating with me. I'm going to get right into it here as I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight this show: Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, among others, many, many others who drop in and out to visit with us. I'm actually recording this show at a very interesting time for me, and I find this whole topic of this particular show to be quite interesting and worth some deeper contemplation. I never record at night, and it is nighttime. I'm sitting by an open window. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, it's 9:30. I've got the new Loveland Autumn deck pack in front of me. We're going to probably pull a few cards from that. Just sitting here by the light of the salt lamp, and I'm getting ready to light the transformation candle. This candle has been a big part of our shows this year. It's done some quite interesting things. Let's see. If you're not familiar with the Mandela Gateway, I'll just do a quick little synopsis if you haven't seen the first show, which had to do with the Pisces full moon that just passed. So the Mandela Gateway is what the guides are calling this. Well, it's happening at the eclipse, and right around Samhain time. The eclipse is October 25th, I believe. And then, of course, Samhain is obviously October 31st, or Halloween night. And it's supposedly this new relational reality where it will be such a shift in dimensional realms that you'll experience the Mandela effect in some shape or form. And I kind of have already been getting glimpses of that. But the one that they shared, and there's many I know, but the one that was shared by another race sharer was like the Fruit of the Loom underwear brand, and like everyone always thought it always had a cornucopia as part of its logo, I guess, and come to find out it doesn't have a cornucopia, like a fruit. I swear it did. So it's stuff like that, and every now and then, since I did the first gateway, which was Pisces full moon, I've been experiencing that in random little things that have been happening. I'll be like, was that always like that? So this is the second gateway. So there was it's not the second gateway. It was like 3, not even doors, but like 3 portals or 3 shifts to the Mandela Gateway. So you had to kind of actively be a part of, like, actively receive the energies of the Pisces full moon and be working with them. Same thing with this Mercury Retrograde, and a couple of you have already contacted me offline and said, what's going on with this Mercury Retrograde? I'm like, we're about to find out here, because We'll go into that in a second. Mercury retrograde is the second doorway. You have to kind of be actively working with those energies. And then the third is this Uranus in Taurus retrograde, the whole conjunction with the North Node. And that started, I believe it was the end of August, and it goes until like the first week of January. And so you have to actively kind of, in a sense, be aware of or working with those energies. And that will be the third show we'll be doing. So if you're not actively following that, I kind of am off and on. I haven't really dived deeply into the impacts of it and what those energies signify in reference to this Mandela Gateway that you also have to actively choose to pass through. But I thought we would touch on Mercury retrograde right now as the second doorway, only because it's got quite a different experience to it, depending on how open you are and how much you are wanting to receive the benefits that it has to offer. Because you can be in the dimensional energy stream of, Mercury retrograde just brings bad stuff and tech glitches, or you can jump on a higher vibrational, higher perception energy stream. It's not really a timeline. It's more of like a different, higher perceptive level of truth, or so to speak, like a higher viewpoint of what this one is bringing. And this one does feel a little bit different. There, of course, there's many retrogrades happening also at the same time. Like as of this Mercury retrograde, there was also, I think there's also 6 other planets in retrograde. So different things are coming up for different people. There's a lot of nostalgia stuff coming up. And I do not have the energy or the wherewithal to sit down and be like, oh, nostalgia's coming up, that's this retrograde, and oh, this is coming up, that's that retrograde. Like, believe, I have more to do with my time than that. I'll leave that to the astrologers. But I do sense like a lot of nostalgia stuff coming up, like going back over stuff from the past, and not even like, apparently in some level of truth, there's like a lot of people coming back from the past to show back up in your life again during this Mercury retrograde, and to, I don't know, reconnect, want to hook up or what, I don't know what, but there's a lot of like people coming back from the past. But what I found is even if they are not showing up like in your physical 3D reality, they are showing up just through other ways. So, and I'm going to ask the guides here to keep me on track with Mercury retrograde gateway stuff, and so they're like, keep going, this is right, so I don't get off track with other retrogrades and other things that don't have anything to do with this Mandela Gateway, because I want to stay focused on that. But they're showing up in other ways. So for example, I have a lot of little drawings and artwork that I've done, and I was like, man, I shouldn't have to go out and buy frames for these things. I certainly have frames around here somewhere. And then I have my old cedar chest from my California days, and I know inside of it there's a ton of picture frames with pictures of like stuff that I don't really want to be in picture frames anymore. It's like stuff from way back and people from my family that I don't even really need them in like they could go in a photo album or something like that. Or like my son is really interested in like, relatives and all that. So I'm like, but I have to then go through all these pictures of all these like old family members and stuff. And ultimately there's some I think I'm going to, or like old pets that have passed, some of those I might keep, but like I got to take the pictures out of the frames and go through them. And then I'm going to want to give them to him. And then he's going to want to know who these people are. And some people I don't know who they are. They're from like his dad's side of the family. I don't know anything about his dad's side of the family enough to like tell him who all these people are. So that is quite interesting in and of itself, all of that. So stuff is coming back, and it may be coming back also dream time. I'm having like dreams of like really, really old coworkers that, I kind of forgot about over the years. But like when I worked in my corporate job, for 15 years, I worked kind of in the same department and like in the IT area. And for almost all of those 15 years, I sat next to the same person. And he was just like a big brother figure to me. But I never, and when I left, he was in the Texas office. When I moved to the California office, it was just like, see you later, bye. Like, I've known him forever. It wasn't even sad. I mean, it was kind of like sad bye, but it was just like, bye, nice knowing you. And that was it. It was kind of like the person I saw every day for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 15 years. And we were just like, bye, see ya. And I kind of never thought twice about it. And then for the past couple of nights, he's been in my dreams. And we've been doing like work stuff. It's so bizarre. So I thought it was really sweet because I kind of thought back and I'm like, I kind of miss his presence. Like he was just kind of like, not a big teddy bear, but kind of like this steadfast figure that was always there. Somebody you could always count on. So I thought that was kind of cool. So the other thing that is popping up tonight as I was just kind of sitting down, this is the thing I want to dive deeper into. Like the nostalgia stuff, yeah, that can come around, ancestors and all that coming out of the woodwork and stuff. But I don't know. Passed on pets is a big one. Coming back, to check up on you and stuff. But I want to focus on this, like, feeling. It feels like this breakthrough that I want to have about this other aspect of this Mercury retrograde in relation to this Mandela Gateway. And I feel like I just can't break through what the energy is trying to say. So I think that's why I decided to come on and do this, because I thought we're in Sacred Circle, we'll pull out some cards, and we will dive a little bit deeper into what this is trying to say. Oh, I'm sorry, it is really hot in here. I'm going to have to turn this fan. I don't think it's very loud. It's really warm today. The other thing that's happening kind of at the same time too is all this is like ascension symptoms are really strong. I'm feeling it like big time in my physical body. Like I can barely get up and walk. I went all crazy the other day with, I just felt like this inner, I don't even know what it was, but I have a staff. I have several staffs. That's a whole other story. But I felt like I had to go outside and do like some martial arts moves with them and stuff, like twirling the staff. Like it's a long staff. And I felt like I had to be like twirling the staff and getting in the flow and doing like some Zen kind of martial arts moves with it. And I was really into it. And I thought, this is really divine masculine of me. And I mean, it was doing pretty good too. Kind of like you see like people twirling like fire sticks and stuff. I was doing pretty good. And I felt really strong. I felt really confident. And then the next morning, I couldn't get out of bed. I'm telling you, that's just a whole other frustration. But I don't want to go there. But so I tweaked my lower back or something, doing this whole silly thing. And so now for days, I've been like so stiff and just trying to work through that. And it's tweaked like right at the root chakra. So there's something big happening in the chakras with this whole Mandela Gateway too. It's this big rewrite. We've known it's coming, meaning the guides, like we've known it's coming for a while now, and way showers have been starting to talk about it maybe a couple months back, that as of these eclipses at the end of the year, we're going to be able to access, if we so choose, like a very higher consciousness upgrade because of this new relational energy field that is coming in as a result of the eclipse energy and the gateways that we've been talking about here so far. And I just feel like there's this breakthrough that I can't quite get to. And it's probably because I'm trying to like mentally feel into it rather than just intuitively letting it happen. Like I'm trying to put words and feelings to it. And I don't think that's possible right now. It's just like it's kind of like that something's coming feeling, and you want to know what that something is, but you're not being shown what that something is, which is like a big pet peeve of mine. I'm like, what? Why can't I? You want me to be the Oracle of Delphi, but you will only let me see certain things. So that's like, hey, that's kind of like a kid on the playground. Like, hey, no fair. Like, you'll let me be the Oracle of Delphi for some stuff, but for other stuff, it's like a closed door. So sometimes that's my pet peeve. It's like, I'll like talk to my guides, like, you're being trickstery again, because I call them tricksters sometimes, because I'm like, hey, you want to, yeah, it's just, I can't explain it. It's not trickster in the way of like pulling the wool over your eyes, because they're like, oh, it's like lovingly done, but it's like, for your own good, we're not going to show you. You always say you want something to happen for your highest and greatest good. Well, your highest, greatest good is like, you don't need to know what that is right now. And I'm like, the double-edged sword. So there's this shift, and I feel like it's so close, but I don't know what it's all about. So I think I'm just here to ask the guides who want to show up or are here in relation to the Mandela Gateway and how Mercury Retrograde plays into that, to, if you guys will, like, show us a little bit about, at a high level, what this is all about. What does this shift entail? Is it just so out there and we can't even fathom it yet because the relational reality isn't really here? The door, the gateway is not there yet. And so we might as well just like happily go about our business and wait for it to show up, or what is it? All right, I've got this Loveland Autumn deck. I did a little flip through. I haven't posted the flip through video yet, so you guys can see the whole deck. But and you can't see it right now because this is an audio podcast. And and just off topic for a second, like the TLC for the Soul, the show started as a podcast, not as a video series on YouTube. So I feel like, and we're coming up on our 5th year in October. It'll be 5 years that I've been doing this podcast. And I guess in homage to that, I'll probably be doing a few more audio-only episodes for the next month or so, just to pay tribute to the fact of how this whole thing started, kind of in my bathroom one day when I was like, I want to do a podcast. Oh my God. And my son wrote me a little, and actually some of the intro music I play is my son's productions and my son's music. All right, they're giving me 2 cards right now for the Mandela Gateway. So what do we got here? So, okay. Oh, I need to get this little light. It's so dark. I can't see what the card says. Okay, where is it? So the first card that came out, and this is back to what energies are coming in to help us. What is this whole Mandela Gateway bringing us in relation to Mercury Retrograde? And the first card that came out is Bringers of the Light, Call to Action. Janelle had often felt lonely, but now is the time to bring in new friends. She needed to get out and shine her light more. This would attract the friends she so desired. And the card has like little band-aids on it and some yummy little piece of candy. It looks like a rainbow swirl. It actually looks like DNA in a way, and like rainbow DNA. So that's, okay, I'm not even going to go to the other card yet. I'm going to turn this little light out because I don't want the battery to die. Rainbow DNA is quite interesting to me. I'm going to peek at the other card. Oh, the other card goes along with it too. Okay, hold on. Let me just read the other card real quick. the other card does kind of go, because this says she feels lonely, but now was the time to bring in new friends. So she needed to get out and shine her light more. This would attract the friends she so desired. But the card that came out with it is Loveland Park. And it's this little guy I drew. And he kind of looks like a little face you might see in a tree. But he called himself the Smeagol. And the card says the Smeagol looked on from behind the bushes. I can't make this stuff up. The Smeagol looked on from behind the bushes, too scared to step forward and make new friends. So, what is this? What is this? What does this have to do? So, bringers of the light call to action and rainbow light DNA upgrades. So, this to me sounds like, feels like, looks like, we're getting some DNA upgrades that are going to prepare us, because it's me included too, all of us, you listening, for a higher, shape my lips in the right words, for a higher level of service work, like career upgrades. So you kind of have to like come out of your shell a little bit for these upgrades, because they're going to take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, more than normal, more than you normally would. So, all right, now I think I need an example here about what this means, because it's just talking about making new friends. It's not really talking, these cards are talking about making new friends. They're not talking about career upgrades. So what, I'm just asking the guides to say, well, like, what does that mean? Give me an example. They're giving me example. They're being sassy, because today, all right, I apparently have to share the stories at the same time I'm sharing the example. Today I went to my local library because I had to print something, and there's so many metaphors here. I hope you guys are listening. I hope you guys have your guides in and you're listening with your master senses. But so I go to the library, and the library in and of itself is a huge retrograde thing, a huge nostalgia thing, because the building has been around in its pretty much its same original form since it was built in I read it somewhere, it was like 1880 something. And it really hasn't changed that much since. And I had to print something. I don't have a printer, and you can print really cheap copies there, like 10 cents a page or something. They have all these computers. And as I was there, I was like, I think I'm going to get a library card. I mean, why not, right? I mean, yes, I have Kindle and I have Audible and all that, but I'm like, why not have a library card? And it made me, the librarian, she was really old. The librarians, they're really, really old. And so, they're not fazed by anything. And here I was like, I think I'm getting a library card. And so she starts punching up on the computer, and I'm standing there just like in awe. And then she shows me I can choose between two library cards. One is like this modern version, which has like these lightning bolts and stuff all over it, the name of the library. And the other one is like this retro picture of, I swear, the library, like in 1880 something. It's like this black and white photo of like this horse and carriage out in front of the library. And I'm like, I want the old fashioned looking card. And then she's like, all right, she's still punching in her stuff. And then I was like, so like a little kid, I was like, I haven't had a library card since I was a little girl. I couldn't believe it. I was like so excited about this dang library card. So in the process of the library card, I start going through while I'm waiting for her to like punch in all this stuff, I like start pulling stuff out of my wallet, and I pull out my annual passes to Legoland in California, in Oceanside. And my son and I would go there all the time, retro again, nostalgia again. And I never got rid of them because I was like, I'm going back to Legoland one day. I don't care what you say. California is my happy place. And I'm going to end up there sooner or later, one way or another. Even if I don't live there, I'm getting back there somehow. And so the example the guides were giving just now that it made me laugh and go and retro back to this story of earlier today is they're saying, it's like these two cards of like the career transition are like you work at Legoland, like serving drinks at the the drink booth, and you get a promotion and now you're like manager of the Legoland hotel. Like, what? So it's like big jumps in your bringers of the light call to action. It's not just like you're working at one place as, I don't know who you are, whatever you do. You're working at one job and you just decide to switch jobs and go to a different company doing the same thing. It's not that. It's like you're 1 minute you're sitting there doing a TLC for this whole podcast, and the next minute you're sitting there running, TLC for this whole enterprises, which I have really dallied in the daydreams of like TLC for this whole being its own bigger thing, like some sort of production company or publishing house, almost like a Hay House. I do have that. Gosh, I better not wait too much longer. I'm not getting to be Louise Hay's. Louise Hay was in her 60s when she started Hay House, I'll have you say. So I'm not there yet. I'm getting pretty close, though. So we better do something soon if we're going to have me do some sort of a TLC for this whole Hay House kind of thing. But I really thought that would be kind of cool to start something like that because, hey, there needs to be more than one of those things. You just have a monopoly on spirituality-based stuff. So anyway, so it looks like this, and I can't be the Schmeagle because if I'm going to be the CEO of TLC for the Soul Enterprises or production company or publishing house or whatever the heck we're going to call it, I can't be sitting behind the tree as this poor little Schmeagle, like afraid to come out, because if I'm going to have that, I'm just saying as an example, think of this as yourself, but you can't have you can't have that drastic of a change and be like still in your own little mini bubble. So like, as if I use myself again as an example, TLC for this whole podcast is just me sitting here in my bedroom talking to you guys. There's nobody else involved really, right, with this thing. I always say it's like a one-woman show over here. Not that I want it to be like that long term, but right now it's just a one-woman show. I'm waiting for that door to open for the only other resources to flow in. Because to have TLC for the Soul House, I'll just call it TLC for the Soul House instead of Hay House. Definitely going to need some investment back. Going to need some like resources, right? Going to need some resources, and definitely going to have to like work with other people, assistants and people, that would like assist in running this thing, because I wouldn't want to be doing that full time. I'm not sitting in an office behind a cubicle ever again. So somehow, right, other people have to be involved. So that's a big jump. So I have to get back into my beauty. I have to get back into my, like, I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. She's this other archetype of myself. I need to get back to her. So it's like archetypes. This is the kind of, it's not the breakthrough moment, but this is what I've been feeling into tonight. Where this is headed is So when I say I need to get back to the retrograde, this is where the retrograde comes in. I need to get back to this archetype of myself. When I worked in corporate and I was like super confident and I was really I was telling you, it was the top of what I did. I was badass. I mean, my manager, I remember her telling me, because we had many offices in many different states and countries. And I remember at one point I was at like the top of my career and she's like, you can work and be and live in whatever office you want to. And she was like, you want to move over here? You can move over here. Like she had my back and she was like, you know, pretty much you can do whatever not do whatever you want. But I don't want to go there, but so I was this archetype of like this really successful, confident businesswoman, and somehow, somewhere, it kind of like, somehow, somewhere, getting on the spiritual path, like consciously getting on the spiritual path, like, not a tower moment, but it's like all of that had to come crumbling down to the ground to totally like do all the shadow work and expose all the areas that needed to be healed, to like, it's like rebuilding that archetype again from the ground up, like tore it all down to like the bare bones of like this little essence that is TLC, is me, and is like they keep sharing with me that, you know, the $6 million man, I hear that every now and then, like, we can rebuild him better, stronger, faster, better than he ever was before, you know, and that's like totally dating myself, but the $6 million man, the OG, and the show with Lee Majors, but that used to be the beginning of the show, like, we can rebuild him. And I feel like that archetype, it's taken freaking forever, but is over the past, when did the conundrum of this teardown start? Started in 2015. Actually started earlier than that. Probably 2013. No, it started earlier than that. I think it's been longer than that. But anyway, bringing it all down to the bare bones of like, this is TLC in her barest form, like no archetypes at all. We just took all the archetypes away. I know you guys are this is like the shaman's journey, the shaman's death or whatever. I know most of you listening have gone through this. All of y'all listening have gone through your dark night of the soul already. The big one. I know you have. So I know you know what I'm talking about. But it's like, had to tear away and take down all the archetypes. And then, now that you know what you know as a spiritual warrior, you have to like build them all back up again. So it's like very slowly getting back to who that archetype was. I like that archetype. I like the badass, corporate, confident woman. I liked her. I liked her. I don't think I'm completely there yet. So, I don't think I'm completely there yet. I think it's slowly getting there, but I think there's some missing elements to her. So, this is kind of where and some of you have shared this with me, like, I really feel like I need to go into like hermit mode. And it's like, this is where there's some opportunities to actually, during this retrograde, which does end at the beginning of October, you can't think through this one. You have to like, just sit with it and let what's going to unfold for you, just let the energies wash over you and let it unfold for you. Because this whole Smeagol too scared to come out from behind the bushes and make new friends is in stark contrast to the fact that they're saying that you're getting a big, you have to have a higher consciousness upgrade, so to speak, to be able to walk through this Mandela Gateway. And so all the pieces are not necessarily there yet. This rainbow DNA activation that's being shown here, that they're talking about, is happening slowly over the next month or so. The Mercury Retrograde is kind of pulling some of it through. The Uranus and Taurus retrograde thingy. So, and the Pisces moon that we just went through are all kind of putting energies in place for this, this whole thing. So that by the time that eclipse comes, by the time Samhain's here, you've got all the parts in place to step through that door and to move forward. All right. That's really big. That one feels really big to me because I think, just personally, if I go back to this archetypes thing, I think I've been grasping for that feeling of that one I was talking about for quite some time now. And I don't know why I haven't. I think that's it. There's like missing pieces and things I can't see yet that help me get back to that. They're kind of at a status level that help me get back to that status level. And it's like I can't access that yet because the energies of the reality I need, this is channeling, the energy of the reality I need aren't in place yet. So that's a huge shift, you guys. And so I know I'm sharing like a lot of like a personal journey story, but I feel like if I don't give any example and I just talk in high level stuff, like you're not going to really be able to like grasp it, I think. So think about that story that I just shared in relation to like your own journey. Somewhere in there, there's this big breakthrough coming for you. For me, that's the one I feel like this is coming now that I'm sitting here and kind of teasing it out. That feels like that's coming for me. And so what's coming for you? What's something that it does feel like it's something you're trying to get back to. Like this time in your life when you were the happiest or the most successful or the, I don't know, whatever, put whatever moniker you want on it. But it's a time in your life. Yeah, it's like a time in your life. They're saying when you were at your zenith, what you thought was like this super high point. And then it kind of felt like you lost it or it went away or it was taken from you somehow. Or you did where you did something to lose it. And they're saying this is going to be a trigger, not a trigger, yeah, like a trigger for some of you, because like you feel like you did something to make that zenith go away, and they're saying you didn't do anything wrong at all, that it all had to come crumbling down. They're just going back to this $6 million man again to build you back up again. Because now, so back then, if I go back to myself, back then, I didn't know anything about spirit. I knew about spirituality because I've always had like my psychic senses turned on, I've always been into like spiritually based topics, so to speak. Always. But they're talking about being consciously on like the spiritual journey, like the hero's journey. So when I was at what I would call my zenith, the top of my career and all that, the top of my earnings and all that way back then, when the heck was that? I don't even know now. That was like early 2000s, I think. Yeah. I would say that was probably like 2003, 2004, 2005, right in there. I wasn't consciously on a spiritual journey then. So I didn't have all that deep understanding about, shadow work and soul work and who I am and mindfulness and oneness and the ascension process and all of that. So I had to lose all those earthly trappings to get to the heart of who I really am, to have the experiences I needed to have to be able to even come here and sit down with you guys and share all this type of stuff. And so they're saying like, you listener, you've earned your merit badge now. And now you get to have your cake and eat it too. That's what they're saying. Like, you get to have your cake and eat it too, because now you get to be this, beloved archetype that you've missed so much, but do it from the ideals of a bringer of the light, of a light warrior, of a starseed that knows that they're here on a spiritual mission with a spiritual purpose in mind, that you can see all that you're doing from a higher level and a higher viewpoint, and know that you're not just if I knew that now, knowing that now, if I was to bring this archetype back again, which I do desire to do that, I wouldn't be doing that again. Like, as my own personal example, if I know I'm a bringer of the light, I'm here on spiritual mission and purpose. I want to have that archetype, but not working for the man, in IT, being a project manager. Like, I would want to have like TLC for the soul, house, and have a spiritually based business, spiritually based partnerships and relationships, with high vibe people. So I would be choosing like a higher relational reality for this archetype. Hold on, it's just making so much sense now. For this archetype to walk into, I wouldn't want to. I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even go back to that. Couldn't go back to that reality because it doesn't exist anymore. That timeline where TLC was an IT project, like, that doesn't even exist anymore. This is long gone. We got rid of that timeline. It crumbled down. And so it's so exciting because you know what you're shooting for. You know the archetype, the zenith or whatever in your, whenever it was. It's like you get to take that feeling and those attributes, like, I'm at the top of my whatever career, my life, my earnings, my creativity, you get to take that and you get to do it from a spiritually based perspective in the highest relational reality. They're saying that Gaia has seen so far in eons is coming in. And so it's setting us up for, it is truly, and that's where this Uranus and Taurus retrograde at the North Node, conjunct the North Node thing all comes into play as well, is that conjunction, that whole thing right there is a once in a lifetime opportunities were coming in as a result of that Uranus and Taurus conjunction. Let me just, this is really big. I didn't expect this to go this deep. This is crazy. I knew there was something there, and I was sitting on the couch listening to something, and I'm like, there's something coming in, and I just cannot grasp it. And I was getting these messages in this reading I was watching, and I'm like, I'm still not getting it. You guys are going to have to help me. And they're like, well, then you're going to have to go to the Mercury Retrograde episode of the show. All right, let me just draw. Is there anything else? Yeah, they're saying there's one more little thing and then we can kind of wrap this up. So going back to this. Oh, and I got two more cards. How will we beat the whole rainbow DNA upgrades in the Smeagol? I don't know, but let's see what's next here. Oh, heck, my water's toppling over. Okay, the other two cards that came out are, oh, I love this one. Pie eating contest. Take it easy. Take it slow. Moderation is called for right now. And the other card that came with it is, this is the very last card in the deck, Love Land. Do everything you love this season and always. So the pie eating contest is just a piece of, it looks so good, a piece of pumpkin pie. Take it easy, take it slow. Moderation is called for right now. And Love Land, every deck I create, the last card is always about love. And so I like this one's called Love Land. And there's 6 little circles with pictures in them, almost like the 6 of Pentacles. The first one is like somebody picking apples. So it's all things, this was all things that I would love to do in the fall. This was like playing with your pet outside in the fall leaves, making a little fall altar space with pumpkins and just fall greenery and herbs and flowers. The next one is like a river in the fall with yellow and red trees. The next one is like kids playing in fall colored leaves. And then the last one is a little girl like in her Halloween costume. Do everything you love this season and always. And moderation is called for right now. So I think the final message is, they just shared we're going through some big DNA upgrades. I talked about this earlier when we first started this show. It's like, I feel like I'm 80 years old. I'm walking around like the physical body is really trying to catch up to all of the, it's just never going to stop, you guys, right? Each year as we go more into this age of Aquarius, more and more, DNA upgrades, like bodies moving to light bodies and crystalline form and all that. It's just never going to stop. And so you have to go at the pace that you can go at and do the best that you can do in any given moment. And I do think, though, and obviously do what you love. And I did hear somebody, I was watching, Valerie Lynn on YouTube, and she was sharing, like, just fill your calendar with doing all these things that you really love to do. And, I thought about that. Even with the work I'm doing now, I'm like, do I still love the podcast? Do I still love writing my books and making cards? I think it's a time, this Mercury retrograde time is a time to reevaluate all those things. Like, do I still like doing all these things? I mean, as a soul inhabiting as a soul who partially inhabits, because the whole soul is not within the physical form, but inhabiting this physical avatar and being a creator and a manifester, it's like, I can create anything I want. Don't want to do cards anymore, want to do books, want to do something else, if it's for the highest and greatest good and it's part of my life purpose, which by now, you guys, you're so plugged into your life plan and the divine plan and all that, you're not going to get sidetracked into like, I'm going to go MC the Ringling Brothers Circus or something. Like, it's like you're not going to get pulled off track to like go work at Wendy's or something. So I think the things that are coming to you, not that any of those things is bad, it just came to mind, but you're not going to get pulled off track to go, what do I love to do? I'm going to go be a park ranger. Actually, I think that would be a fun job, to be a park ranger, like in a state park. I would love to do that and be outdoors all the time. I would love that. But see, I wouldn't be, it sounds great, right? But I wouldn't go do that. So, it's like, just, I think about all the projects that I want to work on, all the books I want to write, all the cards I want to do. And I think about, I was talking to my son earlier, and what was I shared with him? Like, there's only so many years left in our lives. What were we talking about? I don't know how we got into this conversation. And he's like, Mom, you only have about 50. Great, thanks. He's like, you only have about 50 years left. And I thought, you know what? That's really not that long. And I think it's just like a blip in time. Like 10 years go, and 10 and 10, and then blip. You're at the end. You're at the end of your live stream, and it's like, how much longer are you going to wait to do all the things that you really love? Are you waiting for permission from Source and from your guides? Because they're going to give you permission to do what you love. That's the permission they're going to give you. They're not going to say, TLC, you want to stop writing books? Stop writing, but we give you permission to stop. They're not going to tell you. Let me tell you, I spent 2015, when I stopped working, when I early retired from corporate, it took me like 3 years, I think, because I could not figure out what I was supposed to be doing. Like, what was my life purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, soul searching. Almost every day I would walk down to the beach and I would be like, please show me what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't get it. I don't understand what my purpose is. I don't know what you guys want me to do. I just kept asking. I remember asking every day. I would go sit on the beach for hours and hours and hours. Like, just show me what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be writing? But like, what am I supposed to be doing? And finally, I don't know how long it took to get into my head that it was like, they're not going to tell you, because it's you. Your life purpose is you doing what you love to do. And somehow, if you want that to be your quote unquote your career or whatever, then your guides and the angels and Source will help line up what needs to be lined up there for that to be your career. It's not the other way around. And I think you can lose a lot of time doing that kind of soul searching, because the soul searching that you really should be doing, instead of asking what I'm supposed to be doing, is searching your soul for like the things that you really love to do, and just doing those things to the best of your ability, in moderation, according to the pie eating contest. Take it easy. Take it slow. Don't go out and twirl your wood karate monk staff or whatever. I don't even know what to call this staff. Like a crazy person, and tweak your back out and get all crazy, because the energy does come in fast and furious sometimes. And if you're a sensitive soul, if you're going through these big DNA upgrades, sometimes the physical body, it's like you have to take command over, you have to parent yourself really well right now. Because the inner child can go all over the place in the way the energies are flowing in. You could be, you can get these bursts of energies that make you feel like a kid again. But your body has to play catch up at some point in time. And this has nothing to do with like, I'm too old to be building a blanket fort and acting crazy. It's not that. It has nothing to do with your physical age. It has to do with your physical body's ability to stay in line with and balancing out these high vibrational energies that are coming in. And so you just have to be a really good parent to your inner child and kind of realize like, whoa, I might be overdoing it a little bit right here. I'm going to have to take it easy. That happened the past couple of days too for me too. I had a lot of stuff I needed to get done, and I felt like I needed to get done in just a couple of days' time. And by the time last night rolled around, I just could barely function. I was like, I have to stop moving. If my body doesn't stop moving in space time, I was just felt like I was just gonna like crumple down. I had to I needed 3 hours to just sit still on the couch and do nothing to make up for the running around that I had done for the past couple of days. And that's what I was telling my son. I was like, last night I wanted a bowl of cereal because he got on the totally opposite energy stream. So I wanted a bowl of cereal and I was so exhausted. I told him I could barely get up and make that bowl of cereal. I had to force myself to pour the ingredients in the bowl because there's all these different little ingredients. I put in all these different little things and I make this really good bowl of, not just a bowl of cereal. It's got some ingredients going on. And so there's 6 different bags and stuff I have to open, and the milk and all the plant milk and all that. And I told him I really I wanted that bowl of cereal so bad, but I had to really force myself to make it because I was so exhausted. And I remember, I don't know why, I remember saying because I keep saying one day I'm going to have a marguerite. So from my Thunder Rose book collection, she's like Alice from the Brady Bunch, the housekeeper. So I have Marguerite is our Alice in the Thunder Rose collection. She knows, she's like your mom figure, like the house manager who knows what everybody loves to eat, makes all their favorite dishes, and knows what everybody needs before they know they need it. And I was like, one day, when I'm really exhausted, I'm gonna have a Marguerite. I'm gonna call her Marguerite, and I have a Marguerite who says, "Oh, Tammy, you look really tired. Let me make your bowl of cereal for you. You just go sit," like this mother figure, right? You just go sit down and relax, and I'll bring you your. And she'll know all 6 ingredients that my favorite bowl of cereal has, and she'll make it for me, and I just have to kind of sit there and receive and enjoy. So, oh my God, you guys, this Mandela Gateway is crazy. All right, I'm sure I've been babbling on for quite some time now, and I think, let me just pick up my phone. Oh yeah, this was a long one. All right. Well, I know the guides are complete. We have one more of these to go. We'll be coming back in a little while to talk about the 3rd doorway to the Mandela Gateway, which is the Uranus and Taurus retrograde. We may have much of the same things to say, but who knows? We may not. We may get surprised, just like we did with this episode. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me here. I look forward to what this new relational reality has to offer. And as always, thank you, friends. We will see you all again soon. Take care.